My name is meshabryan and welcome to Session Stories. Woo! Session Stories! Hi everyone and welcome back to Session Stories. Okay, so I've got to tell you all about when I moved to London. I always knew that I was going to go to London to be a singer. It was one of those things that was always in the back of my mind. We go to London and we do singing. That's just how it was. A few of my friends from school were moving down as well, so it felt like I had a little bit of a community with me, which was brilliant. I went to a music school called Vocal Tech, and I remember going to the open day and being like, what is this? This is where I need to be coming right now. I remember seeing the tutors perform at the open day and was like, Mum, this is it. I want to come here. This is where I'm coming. And my mum was like, all right, this is it. And at that moment, I was like, yeah, we're moving to London. So, yes, I auditioned and got on the course and I was happy, but I was sad all at the same time and had to move from Wolverhampton. Session Stories. When I got into Vocal Tech, I was sent a little pack, like a little info pack about where the school was and how many people, what group I was in and how many people were going to be in my group and stuff like this. We were also sent a list of things to buy. And obviously, being the geek that I am, I was going to get every single thing on that list. So we were asked to buy a microphone and a mic lead and manuscript paper and obviously have pens and pencils and all of that stuff and be prepared. And I remember going into town, into Wolverhampton town centre and buying my microphone, and it was a Shure SM58 industry standard, and I felt so proud of myself for having this microphone, because it was like, this is proper, this is it now, proper singing. Because the only microphones I had before that were obviously microphones that were borrowed from other people, like working on gigs and stuff, or my karaoke machine microphones, which aren't quite the same, are they? So this was it now. I had my proper lead. I think I got one of them ones that was clear and you could see all the copper inside. Why? And it was terrible too. It broke in like only a few months. It was rubbish. Just get a black one and get on with it. And so I had this SM58, but I remember being in the shop for a while and being like, do I get the one with the switch or do I just get the number? Do I get the one with the switch? Because I'm a little bit indecisive sometimes. And I got my beautiful microphone and I was so glad. And it was funny when I got there. Didn't want to share with people. I'm not going to put that bit in. Session Stories. So, when I moved to London, I looked like this. My phone looked like this. And at Vocal Tech, we were singing, I want you to be my Tina Ninu. I want you to be my Tina Ninu. Tell me the truth. Are you my Tina Ninu? I had the best time. Do you know what? It was a bit like Fame, but without all the leg kicking and the leg warmers and that. And it was a bit less 80s. It was brilliant. The hallways were just packed with people. Every hallway you went down, you could hear people drumming and somebody practicing guitar and somebody singing. It was such a good vibe. And I was like, I'm so glad that I'm here. Except the fact that I was poor. Like broke. Like I got really thin and my head looked massive. It was like, I'm surprised I was able to like stay upright the whole time. But you know what? It was worth it. A little bit of hardship. So I lived in I have a habit of living in kind of crime-ridden places. But you know what? It's character building. One of the places I lived, there was all like helicopters flying over and gunshots. There's always somebody running. Always, not for fitness either. It was always like thieves. So, yeah, but do you know what? I was like, it's worth it. I was hungry a lot of the time, but I was having a brilliant time. We worked on harmony and theory, oral and transcribing, styles. Technique was one of my favourite things because I'm just a massive geek. And what I realised is that I was doing a lot of the technical stuff at home anyway, but I didn't realise what everything was called. So I loved all of that stuff, and developing the voice and developing the range and using different tones and colours and stuff, which has completely helped me with my session singing as well. I would say probably some of the reason why I was getting more sessions was because I don't particularly take myself too seriously. I'm laughing as I'm saying, but that is a good thing. You need to be able to hear yourself and hear your voice in different colours. You can't be afraid to, I used to be asked to do things like, oh, put a bit of Britney Spears on it, or think Sade, or, think like Barry White or something like that. And even now when I'm teaching people, in order for people to kind of like be more open or place their voice differently, I say, think like, I don't know, like a church singer, or, like a gospel singer, or sing like Santa, or like a fairy or something like that. And it really does help to get the colours out in you. That is what makes people vocalists and not just singers. Singers can just sing and the sound comes out and it might be wicked and that's all lovely and nice. But if you want to be a vocalist, you have to be able to do much, much more with your voice. So yeah, all that technical stuff that I was learning at Vocal Tech was really, really cool. So what happened was, we were in such a great position. It was in Acton and our building was here. And then to the right hand side was one of the biggest recording studios in the world, Stanley House. And then to the left was a building called the Brilliant Building, which is where the Spice Girls were formed, right? And there was always a cardboard cutout of the Spice Girls when we went by. I was like, oh, inspiration, if they can do it, then we can do it as well. And so it was such a fantastic environment and a great atmosphere to be in, because you had all this great music being made. Every day outside Stanley House, there'd be like little popsters, waiting for the latest boy band to come out, all screaming with their banners, I love you, as people were coming in. I believe George Michael used to like helicopter in, land on the roof and come and do a session. So the guys from Stanley House used to come into our performance workshops. Every week we used to have to learn a song. Well, we had loads of songs to learn, but for this one performance workshop we had to learn a song and learn the backing vocals, and the drummers, bassists and guitarists all had to do the same. We had to get up and perform it, and then we'd be graded, which at first I was terrified of, because silly things. Because I got a big mouth, right? I didn't want to open my mouth properly. And then I would get on my own nerves and be like, Misha, if you want the sound to come out, if you want it to resonate, you got to open your mouth. Everybody has these little things, One of my students before, she was like, I've got really long arms, so I'm just going to have my arms behind me all the time. Just, that's how you look. What are you going to do? Chop a chunk out of your arms? You can't do that, can you? So just, your arms are long. I didn't even think they were long. Just get on with it. With me, my mouth's big. Get on with it. You want the sound to come out, innit? So I'd stand there and be all scared and all a bit like that. And eventually I came out of my shell a bit more. Luckily, one day, one of the guys from Stanley House came into our performance workshop and liked what I was doing, and then asked me to come and work at Stanley House. Dun, dun, dun. And it was like Holy Grail. Oh, like angels coming down from the sky and everything. I was like, bloody hell, this is good, isn't it? So, yeah. So basically, Vocal Tech was, well, the tech building was here, and then Stanley House was literally next door. And at that time, I lived in Shepherd's Bush. So it was a really easy way for me to get both into college and to go and do sessions. And I remember the first time I went into the studio, I had to wade through all the fans, and be like, oh, I'm here to do a session, to the security guard on the door. And I went in, it was all beautiful in glass and all lit and everything, all dead nice like a dream. And I went into Tim Law's studio, and going down the hallway were just platinum discs and gold discs and how many hundreds of thousands and squillions and trillions of songs, records that he'd made and sold, and it was like, wow, this is insane, and I'm getting to work with these people. It was mad. And just for a second, the fight or flight thing kicks into your body and you think, oh, I'm a fraud. Just for a second, and you think, no. They saw me and they've asked me to do this stuff. And I'm so glad that I didn't back out, because Stanley House, working as a resident at Stanley House, taught me so much. Session stories. At Stanley House, we would always start with the choruses. So what we do is we track the vocals, and they were always really fat, loads of harmonies. Each line would be tracked, and by tracking I mean you sing something and then you repeat it. We'd often track things maybe 3 times. So if you sang ooh, you'd have to sing that 2 more times exactly the same over the top of it to make sure that it was tracked correctly. Then we'd build up the harmony over the top of it, and then we'd get into the bridge sections, because there's always going to be a bridge section. We pretty much went like verse, chorus, bridge, double chorus, out, something like that. It was kind of very poppy, that kind of thing that was going on. We'd always do a track of like singing the lead as if you're performing it like for like a concert or something like that as well. So it was a bit bigger and a bit more like, yeah, I'm in front of people and I'm giving it loads. Then we do whispers, because it'd always be like someone kind of like, yeah, baby, all the time, or something like that going on all the time. We had to do whispers. And then we do an ad-lib track as well. And I'm so glad that we always did that ad-lib track, because the first few times I did I was doing the sessions, I'd be terrified. Because I was like, I'm used to singing just the lead and the melody and laters, but this was like, no, you got to make something up. I'd be like, like that about it. And the more I did it, the better I got, the easier it was. The more ideas I came up with, the more relaxed I was about it, the freer I became. So it was so good. And in the end, from working at Stanley House, we did tracks for Kylie, Victoria Beckham, the Appletons, S Club 7, S Club Juniors, Gareth Gates, Jennifer Ellison with her foot kicking kind of things. Loads of stuff, loads of stuff. And in the end, I got my session time down from about 7 hours to about 2, doing all of that stuff. So Stanley House was such a great foundation for me going on to do all of the session work that I've done, and I'm eternally grateful to the guys for picking me up and taking me under their wing. Session Stories. Next time on Session Stories, I'll be telling you about auditioning for my first professional gig, getting my first professional gig, and using the knowledge and experience I gained at Vocal Tech and Stanley House to help maintain the gig. If you're enjoying the video series, please give me a thumbs up and press the subscribe button. Until next time, happy singing. Ooh, Session Stories.